A friend's refuge. Laurel called me late last night, and it was clear she had been crying. Some kids from school had been cruel to her, lobbing words like freak and weirdo her way simply because they found out she was gay. The town wasn't known for being accepting, and the harshness of it all hit her hard. My heart sank as I listened to her voice, trembling and small. "Can I sleep over?" she asked, her tone vulnerable. "Of course, Laurel. I'll be waiting for you," I reassured her before we hung up. I made my way downstairs, catching a glimpse of my reflection in the bathroom mirror. My brown pigtails were tied neatly, and my green eyes sparkled with concern. The baby blue tank top I wore was comfy, and though I felt a little self-conscious, I brushed it off. I had a friend who needed me. I opened the door, lifting the buttercream-colored macrame veil as I scanned the street for her. Soon, I spotted her slender form running towards my house, her red curls bouncing with each step. Clad in mint green boxer shorts and an oversized shirt, she seemed a bit vulnerable, and I couldn't help but feel protective. "Thanks," she murmured, quickly dashing past me and up the stairs. I followed her into my room, closing the door behind me. The sight of her bandaged wrist made my heart twist with concern. Oh no. Please tell me she didn't, I thought, anxiety bubbling inside me. I quickly knelt beside her, taking her hands gently. "What happened?" I asked, meeting her watery ocean blue eyes filled with sadness. "They said it's my fault. Mom said our family is messed up because of me, and that I get death threats because I deserve it," she said, her voice cracking with emotion. At that moment, my anger and frustration surged. How could they say that to you? Parents should protect their children. It's not your fault, I exclaimed, wishing I could shield her from the harsh realities of the world. As much as I wanted to protect her, I felt utterly helpless. Laurel's tears flowed freely now, her pain palpable. "They're right though. If I wasn't who I am, everything would be all right." "No, Laurel. If it wasn't your sexuality, they'd just find something else to pick on you for. They are the ones who are messed up, trying to make you feel less than. You deserve better," I told her firmly. It infuriated me to see her in such distress. "I can't take it anymore," Laurel said through her tears, and I moved closer, taking her hands in mine. "It's going to be okay," I whispered softly. "You'll be leaving for college in August. You won't have to see them anymore." I believed it, truly and fervently. I reached out, brushing some of her curls back from her face, hoping to instill some comfort. Her gaze locked onto mine, and for a moment, I felt like the world faded away. "I love you, Laurel," I said honestly, my heart swelling with affection. "I love you too," she replied quietly, a shy smile creeping across her face. I felt a warm rush as I pulled her close, wrapping my arms around her in a comforting embrace. We lay there for hours, talking quietly about everything and nothing. We shared stories, laughed about silly memories, and played games to distract her from the pain outside. With every word, I could see her breathe a little easier, and I wanted nothing more than to keep that sadness at bay. As I held her close, I promised her silently that I would always be in her corner, no matter what. Together, we could face the harshness of the world. "You're strong, Laurel. You'll get through this," I whispered, feeling her calmness return slowly. "I'm here for you." Eventually, her eyelids grew heavy, the fatigue evident on her face. I stroked her hair gently and planted a soft kiss on her forehead. "Tomorrow will be better, I promise." As she drifted off to sleep, her breathing steady and peaceful, I held her tightly. In that moment, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would find a way to face them together. Our bond was unbreakable, and for as long as I could, I'd be her refuge. As the dawn broke, a soft glow seeped through the curtains of my room. I woke up to the sound of birds chirping outside, and for a moment, I lay still, allowing the warmth of the morning sun to bask over both of us. Laurel's head rested peacefully on my shoulder, her red curls fanned out like a halo. The sight filled me with a sense of protection. She looked so serene, so vulnerable but so strong too. I felt a gentle tug at my heart, realizing how much I wanted to shield her from the pain of the world. However, I knew the path ahead wouldn't be without challenges. Carefully, I slipped out from under her, making sure not to wake her. I tiptoed down to the kitchen to make us breakfast, hoping a simple meal might bring a little cheer to her day. As I scrambled eggs and toasted bread, I thought about the conversation we had last night. So many people could be so cruel, and yet here we were, entangled in friendship and love that transcended all the negativity around us. After a short while, the smell of breakfast wafted through the house, and I heard a light shuffle behind me. I turned to find Laurel standing in the doorway, rubbing the sleep from her eyes. She looked adorable in her oversized shirt and tousled hair, and I couldn't help but smile. "Good morning, sleepyhead," I greeted her, setting a plate on the dining room table. "Smells amazing," she replied, a hint of a smile creeping across her face. She hesitated before slowly making her way to me, and I admired how brave she was, despite everything that had happened. We sat together, eating quietly. I noticed Laurel stealing glances at me as she took a bite, and the fleeting moments of lightness felt like a balm on her wounds. "Thank you for last night," she said after swallowing her food. "I don't know what I would have done without you." I reached across the table, taking her hand in mine. "You don't have to thank me. I'll always be here for you. You know that, right?" She nodded, a spark of gratitude shining in her eyes. "I really don't deserve you." "Stop that. You deserve all the love and support in the world. Those jerks can't define who you are," I assured her. After breakfast, we ventured outside to a nearby park, hoping the fresh air would lighten Laurel's spirit further. The sun was bright and the flowers were in full bloom, vibrant colors scattered across the landscape. We found a bench and sat down, facing a small pond where ducks floated lazily. "So, what are you going to do about the bullying?" I asked carefully, wanting to nudge the topic forward without overwhelming her. "I don't know," she admitted, looking down at her hands. "Part of me wants to confront them, but what if it just makes things worse?" "I think talking to someone might help," I suggested. "Maybe a teacher or a counselor. You shouldn't have to face this alone." She sighed, contemplating my words. "You're right. I think I'll talk to Ms. Mitchell. She's always been supportive and I trust her." "Good idea," I smiled. "And whatever happens, know that I'm right here. If they try to mess with you, they'll have to deal with me too." A small laugh escaped her lips, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of warmth at the sound. That was the end goal, to bring joy back into her life, to show her that she wasn't alone. We spent the rest of the day having light-hearted conversations, laughing about our favorite shows, and planning possible summer activities that would keep us busy after school ended. By the time we returned home, I could see a sparkle returning to Laurel's eyes, and it made me feel hopeful. That evening, as we curled up under a blanket to watch movies, I noticed Laurel lean her head against my shoulder. It felt right, as if our bond had strengthened, and as I put my arm around her, she let out a content sigh. "Feeling better?" I asked softly, looking down at her. "Much better. Thank you for being my refuge today." "I really needed it," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I squeezed her shoulder. "You're always welcome here, Laurel. Your family." We settled into a comfortable silence, allowing the stories on screen to wash over us. In those moments, I thought about our journey ahead, and knew that together, we could face whatever challenges life threw our way. The rest of the week passed by with more laughter and adventure. With each day, Laurel grew stronger, and I was proud of her for seeking help and expressing her feelings. We created our own safe space, free from judgment. But I knew the road to healing was not a straight path. There would still be rough days ahead, but we would navigate them together. No matter where life took us, the bond we'd forged in the midst of adversity filled me with hope. And as I lay next to Laurel that night, watching her drift off into a peaceful slumber, I vowed to always be her strength, her protector, and her unwavering friend. The following weeks were a testament to Laurel's growing resilience. With each passing day, the shadow of negativity began to lift, replaced by moments of laughter and shared dreams. She took my advice to heart, and with my unwavering support, she mustered the courage to speak to Ms. Mitchell about the bullying. "It feels like a weight has been lifted," Laurel told me one evening as we sat on my porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon. We shared a plate of homemade cookies, our fingers sticky with warm chocolate. I thought I'd be a mess after telling her, but I feel lighter. Like I finally took a step forward. "I'm so proud of you," I replied, nudging her playfully with my shoulder. "You're stronger than you know. And it takes guts to stand up for yourself." Her smile was radiant, and I couldn't help but feel a swell of joy at seeing her so carefree. The weeks had transformed from the darkness of despair into light, filled with new possibilities. We began making plans for college, throwing around ideas about what subjects Laurel would study, and where we envisioned ourselves a few years down the line. As the summer crept closer, we frequently found ourselves daydreaming about adventures, exploring new cities, trying out cafes, and attending concerts. The more we envisioned our future, the more excitement bubbled within us. One evening, as we laid on a blanket in the backyard, staring up at the stars, I turned to her. "You know, no matter where you go or what you do, I'll always be cheering you on." "I know," she replied softly, her eyes sparkling with sincerity. "You've always had my back. I am so grateful for you." We continued to gaze at the constellations, occasionally pointing out shooting stars and making wishes. The air was sweet with the scent of blooming flowers, and the night felt infinite. Yet, amid the joy, I sensed Laurel still carried traces of her past pain. She had become more vocal about her feelings, but I realized the journey of healing wouldn't be linear. It would take time, compassion, and patience. One day, as we walked home from school, I noticed her soft expression had taken on a more serious tone. "Hey, what's on your mind?" I asked gently, looking over to her. "I've been thinking about the bullies. It's still hard for me sometimes," she admitted, her voice wavering slightly. "Even after everything that's happened, I sometimes wonder if things will change once I leave for college. What if I run into the same kind of people?" I stopped, gently taking her hands into mine. "Laurel, I won't lie to you, there will always be challenges and harsh people in the world. But you've learned how to stand up for yourself. And you've found your voice. You're stronger than you believe." She nodded, though uncertainty lingered in her gaze. "I know you're right. I just don't want to feel that powerless again." "Well, you're not alone anymore," I reassured her. "You have me, and a whole new adventure waiting for you. College is a fresh start, a chance to define who you are without the noise of those who don't understand." A spark of determination began to return to her eyes. "I can do this," she affirmed, her grip on my hands tightening. "I won't let them take my happiness away anymore." As we continued to walk home, I felt a newfound weight lift off her shoulders. It was a mixture of relief and determination, and I knew the resilience she discovered within herself would guide her forward. As summer approached, we celebrated our friendship and the obstacles that had brought us closer. One sunny afternoon, we arrived at a local pride festival, vibrant and bustling with energy. The rainbow flags danced in the wind, and music filled the air, weaving a tapestry of joy and acceptance. "This is incredible," Laurel exclaimed, her eyes wide as she took in the sights. We wandered through the crowds, chatting with vendors and other attendees, their smiles contagious. In that moment, Laurel shone brighter than ever, surrounded by a community that embraced her. As the sun set, we found ourselves in a more intimate setting, sitting on the grass, watching a local band perform on stage. I glanced over at Laurel, who was laughing and singing along. It was a pure, beautiful moment that captured the essence of who she was, free-spirited and loving. "Look at you, you're glowing," I said, nudging her playfully. "I feel alive," she replied, beaming with confidence. "This is what I've been searching for." As the night deepened, the crowd danced under the stars, and I realized how far we had come. Laurel was no longer just a girl struggling with her identity. She was a warrior, an advocate for herself and others, and I was proud to stand beside her. In that moment, I understood that our friendship was more than just a refuge, it was a foundation for strength, love, and acceptance. I reached out, intertwining my fingers with hers, and felt a wave of warmth wash over us. Together we can face anything, I promised her, squeezing her hand tightly. Together, she echoed, and I knew that from that moment on, we would continue to navigate life's challenges side by side. As summer slipped into fall and college loomed on the horizon, we carried those promises with us. Each moment would be a step forward, our journey unfolding in endless possibilities. No matter where life took us, we'd carry our friendship as a shield, a testament to love's power, unwavering and unbreakable. And with that thought, as we joined the celebration around us, I knew we'd face the future, hand in hand, ready to embrace whatever awaited us.